Hello, this is Andrew Thate from Mines and Money. Delighted to be joining me today by Paul Gill, President and Chief Executive Officer of Pampa Metals. Great to have you with us today, Paul.
Thanks, Andrew. Nice to be here.
So when we had you last in the program, you were talking about Lamico, but obviously today you're here to talk to us a little bit about Pampa Metals. Can you give us a bit of an overview?
Yeah, we had a great opportunity to join a very prospective company in South America that was copper focused, and that was my original introduction into the mining industry was copper with Norrispont Mining in the 2000s, the early 2000s. And so obviously lithium and graphite, I feel, is the future, and I'm continuing to serve as the chairperson of Lamico, and we're really excited about the developments that are going on in Quebec. But in addition to that, now that I don't have to wear the CEO hat over there, I'm able to free up some time to do work on Pampa Metals and join a very, very excellent team who has a lot of Chilean experience.
Mm-hmm. Perhaps we can talk a little bit more about your team. It certainly interests me that you seem to have acquired a lot of local knowledge there. Who are the key members of your management team?
Yeah, the key members, I think there's several. First of all, Tim Beal, who is the COO, is formerly with Anglo American and other groups in Chile. He's had a wealth of experience in that particular area, and has a continuing focus on developing and finding these fantastic porphyry deposits that are hidden underneath the Pampa. Julian Babin was formerly with Rio Tinto and had served as CEO of Pampa for the startup phase, and now we're getting into more serious drilling and development, and so I've taken over that position, although Julian remains as an important member of the board of directors. Adrian Manger is the chairman of the company, and he was formerly with BHP, credited with being part of the build of the Spence mine in Chile. And Yanis Sotis is also with Gold Source, but also a member of Pampa, and active in the company in reaching out to investors. And our CFO, Gurdeep Bains, was formerly with Canaccord Genuity. So we've got a wealth of experience on this board, and we look to, I think, laser focus on northern Chile, the Antofagasta region, where we think there's going to be the next big discovery of copper.
What's the infrastructure there like?
Well, it's excellent. There's a highway running up the middle of that particular area. Antofagasta is a port, and not only that, there's a significant number of mines in Chile. You have, of course, Escondida, one of the biggest mines in the world. Previously mentioned Spence, Collahuasi, and probably about 10 or 11 others. Every major company in mining is located or has an office in northern Chile, and has an operation there. 30% of the world's copper comes from this region. Imagine that. I mean, people talk about Saudi Arabia being such a big player in oil, but it only controls 10% of the oil, whereas this area is responsible for 30% of the copper production. I think that's something to take note of, and we need this copper to develop our future in manufacturing in the Western world.
In terms of then, so what sort of news have you got coming up over the course of the next few months that investors should look out for?
Well, right now we're waiting for results from our Block 4 exploration. This is a brand new potential discovery that's been made of a porphyry deposit. We've already found stockwork veining that's been at surface, which is exciting to see that a system has been active in the area. And so we now will look to see drilling in the future, but also wait for the the results of that particular exploration. Redondo Veronica has been drilled. We had snipped the outside of a porphyry deposit there. We want to go back and drill there. Cerro Buenos Aires as well has a location that we'd like to drill. So those are three of the particularly interesting projects that we own 100% of. And there's a total of 8 projects that Pampa owns 100% of. The last 2 that I'd like to talk about is Cerros Moros Blancos and Cerros Blancos. Now, those 2 projects are under joint venture with Austral Gold, and they are drilling right at the moment. And that's very exciting. They're looking for gold at surface. Usually in the porphyry system, you have copper at depth and gold at surface and perhaps a little silver. That's what they're looking for on those 2 particular projects. Austral is a producer in Chile, so it's a very exciting time. They can earn up to 80% interest by completing a preliminary economic assessment. So we have no costs in regards to that joint venture. It's all Austral costs. So we'll find out those drill results in the next little while as well.
What are your sort of like timelines for getting some of these projects into production then?
Well, certainly there's a number of different avenues here. One of the good things about this area of Chile is we don't have any real environmental concerns. What we see is the Pampa that's been developed there is glacial till essentially that covers part of the surface. So we can see development happening very quickly. We're most likely going to joint venture with a major if we find a major discovery, of course. They're neighbors that we have on all of the project areas that are major companies. So that's kind of the strategy here, is to discover and then joint venture, as we've done with Austral. So just recently, we've added 8 new projects to the property mix, and they are interdispersed among our projects. And we've just announced that through Vera AI. And that's we're able to use that new technology, the artificial intelligence, to pinpoint additional exploration. Now, on those 8 targets that we are, or 8 projects we already own, we have 25 targets to drill. So certainly we could rent and keep a drill for operating for quite a long period of time to make those discoveries. So that's our next year or 2, just going from project to project and exploring and drilling.
I'm just going to be interested on the AI, because you've been in the mining business for like a number of years. How, in terms of cost savings and efficiency, if you have to kind of quantify the use of AI, is it going to help you at sort of like Pampa compared to, say, if you like didn't have AI, or if you had been at Pampa Metals, let's say 10 years ago?
Yeah, 10 years ago, we didn't have the same ability to look underneath the surface. There was induced polarization and magnetics, but it was obscured to some degree by the conductive material that's at surface in this gravelly material. So this allows the current technology allows us to look past that. Now, what also happens is the AI allows us to extrapolate from previous discoveries in this particular area. So we have a geological model for, say, the Escondida mine or other mines. Now we can apply that using AI to the information we have. Now, we've collected soil samples, we've collected IP, induced polarization, conductivity studies, magnetic studies, and all of that can be correlated by AI to produce new areas that we should be looking at, or confirm the areas we already have identified. So it's very exciting to see this kind of development.
And just a couple of like final questions. Who are your current investors?
Currently, we have a fairly tight structure, 46 million shares. In fact, Austral Gold is one of our major investors at this point in time. We purchased the shares from Austral, or purchased the projects from Austral when we originally set up the company in the last year. So this is a very new company. The acquisition costs in shares and cash was about 7 million. Now, compare and contrast that to my experience. I mean, it cost us probably 70 million to acquire one project in Peru that ended up becoming the Constancia mine, which I worked on for the discovery period back in 2004 and 2005. So that project was really a 10x return on investment because we sold it for 500 million, and Hudbay then added another 1.5 billion to make it a $2 billion build and a $20 billion valuation today. That mine, Constancia, is producing at 30,000 tons a day. So I mean, we're looking for elephants here. We're not looking for small projects. I mean, we think that there are many more projects that are there, but many more porphyries that have yet to be discovered. And that's what our focus is.
Well, it really does sound a really unique investment opportunity. We wish you all the best for 2022. And once again, that was Paul Gill, President and Chief Executive Officer of Pampa Metals. Thank you very much, Paul.